Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Chad Altman. Today, I have the question for you. What is your story? See, a lot of the times in life, the story that we tell ourselves ends up being our reality. See, in our brain, where we live and what we say about things that we come in contact with or situations, how they become, the more we tell ourselves the things that we're telling ourselves, the more they exist in our life. For example, you know, in my childhood, I was told, you're not good enough. You'll never get it. That doesn't belong to you. You'll never be able to have that. So now in my adult life, that shows up sometimes. You know, a lot of the times I might feel like I don't deserve something. I can never obtain that. I can never have that goal. I don't deserve that. And it shows up in powerful ways. Like sometimes I don't feel like things will come up when I'm in a group of friends and I don't feel like I really fit in, or I don't feel like I belong, or those people are better than me, or I can't get that job, or I can't really hang out with those people. And it's really sad because that dialogue is pretty much on autopilot, right? It's like it's something that's developed over a period of time, and then it's like really like how to get in there and to rewire that chemistry and to change that dynamic and to start to tell yourself the story which you want. Because I think that we all want to have the job. We all want to be able to have the friends and feel the sense of belonging. Like that's something we all want and desire, but it's like, how do we get from the wound to the sense of belonging? And it's hard when you're by yourself to get to that space until you do the work to get there. And there's a few different things that you can do to get there. The very first thing I think is to increase community, right? So if we increase our community and have ourselves around people that see our worth even when we don't see it ourselves, then they're going to remind us of who we are. And that's how it's a benefit of accountability to it. So we're not just sitting there by ourselves, wallowing in our own misery, telling ourselves that we weren't good enough and we'll never amount to nothing and we can't have that job. Instead, we have somebody to remind us like, yo, you are worthy and you are amazing and you do deserve it. And so practice of repetition is going to begin to take way and create space for the new version of you to start to be rewired into your psyche. And that is actually called neuroplasticity, right? It's like changing the thought pattern to rewire in new ones. And that takes time, right? You didn't become the person that you were. You didn't start these behavioral thought patterns at an early age and use them all the way to adulthood. And you can't just start them in a couple of weeks. So the second thing is you have to be good to yourself. In my relationship with my kids all the time, I tell my son, I tell him, be nice to my son, because he has a tendency too to be hard on himself when something doesn't come the way that he wants. If he doesn't excel in a video game, or if he doesn't have a good day at school, or he's not able to finish his math, his first go-to is, oh man, like I'm not smart enough. And it's like, no, you are smart enough. You have to see your worth. And I have to remind him of that. So we have to reparent the inner child within ourselves. And we have to be patient and loving and kind with that child and that self, right? So many times, and especially in a society that tells us like, just do it, take life by the horns, have it your way, right now. Like, yeah, those things can happen, but they take time. So, consistency is key when rewiring or changing any pattern or behavior. It takes consistent action every day, one foot in front of the other, to change your story, right? I could classify myself as a heroin addict. I can classify myself as a widow, and I'll never have another partner, and I will never experience love again, or I'm just going to be a junkie for the rest of my life, or I'm just a prisoner, like a felon, and I'm never gonna see, because those things are all part of my story. I was a heroin addict, right? I am a widow. I am a felon. Like, all these things are true about what had happened in my past. But the dynamic of carrying that and making it a part of who I am every day, preventing myself from having the beautiful things that life has to offer me, that's completely different. That's preventing myself from growth. That's standing with like a block on my head, preventing me from becoming the man that I want to be. So I have to stand in power, right? I have to stand in power and know that those things are a part of me, but those aren't who I am. See, and a lot of the stuff goes to the inner child wound. Like, in the going to prison was a result of drug addiction. And then my drug addiction was a way to self-soothe and self-medicate within problems that I had within myself, where I didn't feel comfortable being who I was. And then I got so used to using that all the time as a way to just numb out and not lean into the shadow and not to remind myself of my worth, that I got lost in that for so many years. And then finally, I finally got through that and overcame my addiction to get to the place where I am now. And so if you're struggling with the dynamic of your story, right? Who are you? You know? And it's not your past that defines you. Your past doesn't define you. You can redefine yourself at any moment that you want. It has to be one step in front of another every single day to convey that self to self, who you want to be. So if you want to find more ways to do this and to learn to heal your inner self, your inner child, and change the dialogue and the story that you tell yourself on a day-to-day basis, just go down below, hit this like button for this video, and hit subscribe, and there'll be tons of more content in the future on learning how to heal yourself. Let's change the story in our lives, and let's change who we are. Have an awesome day.